mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
As the month of October comes to a close, Halloween is on Monday. We're going to get into the Thanksgiving season as 2022 is also coming to a close. It is ridiculous. I haven't even felt like I've had the opportunity to consume that. It's 2022, but I'm here. People are filing into the chat, and I checked the mic and it damn sure sounds right, boy, which could only mean that it's Saturday. You know what that means. We're live. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the greatest fucking show on earth, streaming live across 4 different platforms, 6 different accounts, as of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle, no. Oh, wow. Woo! Do you smell that? You know what that is? That right there is the smell of pure excellence. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind. And this is the official Lightning Flash update. Don't know why I said it like that, but who cares? For October 29th, 2022. I still got a little bit of a lingering cough. I do sound better, though. Not sure how good I'll sound after the stream, but I'm sounding fairly okay. You guys can bear with me. Trust me, I should be okay. So far, we got Dylan, we got Peanuts, we got Lisa Warlow decided to drop on into the chat, as well as Mitch Kofsky, reminding everyone that I am the best in the motherfucking business. Ain't no one better. Ain't nobody better. Who better than DJ Storms? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Choking on my own fucking saliva as I'm talking. Ridiculous. I am the alpha male of the IWC for a good reason. But we got a lot of material to talk about. Including a big story. CM Punk. He is not expected back in All Elite Wrestling. To the surprise of no one, especially after Chris Jericho called him a cancer to the industry. And Tony Khan is currently looking to buy out CM Punk's contract. We are going to dissect everything in depth. We're going to dissect Bray Wyatt being the #1 merch seller. We're also going to talk about, apparently, GCW and WWE have a little relation where their shows are going to air on Peacock, at least shows from the past. Now, do not get overly excited. That does not mean things are going to be over the top, and we're going to see GCW wrestlers on WWE TV. We'll talk about that as well. We're going to talk about 4 weekly show reviews and the tease of the Elite coming back to AEW television. A lot of shit to get into to close out the month of October. You guys have been great all month. We have had a phenomenal month here at the DJ Storms production studio and here on the DJ Storms channel and the brand as a whole. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And November and December are going to be busy months, I'm telling you. We got so many rundowns, so many rewinds, a couple of returning guests, and a few new guests that I'm planning to get on the channel for the very first time. Of course, we got the rundown for Crown Jewel coming to you live next Thursday with Mitch Kofsky, who's in the chat right now. So shout out to Mitch Kofsky. He's going to be on my channel once again to dissect, preview, and predict Crown Jewel. And then Mac, the Giants fan, he was on the rundown for Money in the Bank back in July. He's going to be coming on my channel on Sunday, November 6th for the rewind for WWE Crown Jewel. All Elite Mikey I have on tap for the rundown for Full Gear. We got plenty more, which I will announce as we get closer to the date, so please keep your eyes peeled. But nevertheless, we are going to get right into the festivities right after these short little messages here. Please, if you haven't followed me on social media, I don't know what you're doing. Gotta follow me on social media. That is at HistoryMakerDJS, both on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. You can add me on Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description. If you haven't liked the stream, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. No matter where you're watching it from, whether it be the Facebook page, my YouTube channel, Hardcore Sports YouTube channel, Hardcore Sports Twitch, Hardcore Sports Twitter, or my Twitter, it is vital that you follow them on wherever you're watching from. Follow them on Twitter, follow them on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook, wherever it may be. Please make sure you hit the like button. It is vital. It helps the algorithm. It gets my stream out there even more, and it brings more people into the stream. That way everyone can get their little weekly dose of DJ Storms, although you'll be getting multiple doses of DJ Storms in the coming weeks. Let me tell you something. You can never have enough too much DJ Storms. The more DJ, I know people say too much of a good thing is not a good thing for anyone, but when it comes to DJ Storms, you can consume as much as you want and you will feel nothing but happiness because I'm just that damn fucking good. Regardless of that, we have some major news because we are at 190 subs. That's right, 190 subs on the Hardcore Sports channel, which we are streaming live on right now. So if you have not already checked it out, go and check out the Hardcore Sports channel and subscribe over there. It is vital that you do so. And share the stream out on all platforms, social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you may be using. Get it out there because we got a lot of material to dissect and to get into. You are not going to want to miss this show because this show is going to start a busy, busy trend of shows, and you are going to want to be here for them all. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, whether it be on my channel or on the Hardcore Sports channel. And please make sure that you hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. You know why? Because it's the only time that you won't get to see this glorious sideburn shin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. You know what time it is, baby. Oh, yeah, we are going to light it up, baby. Yeah, we're going to light it up right here on the channel on Twitter, on Twitch, on the Facebooker with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like Campbell's soup, like a nice T-bone steak. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. A nice T-bone steak with a medium rare broil and garlic salt with a side of barbecue sauce, honey barbecue sauce that is. Just like a nice tenderloin, just like nice juicy boneless fried chicken, just like succulent, fresh, hotly boiled tomato soup and grilled cheese. Oh, I'm so good. Because everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. You already know the drill. To answer your question, Thomas V, no, that is Crown Jewel of last year playing in the background. That is Crown Jewel of last year playing in the background, if you're interested. I know. I make people very hungry. Ain't that right, Dylan? Now then, why don't we get straight into the news, rumors, and reports? Let's start with Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, obviously, he had a big night last night where Uncle Howdy was revealed. Should be very, very interesting to see where that goes. But Bray Wyatt, according to PW Insider, has returned to being WWE's top merch seller since his return at Extreme Rules, surpassing the Bloodline. WWE is reportedly very thrilled with this as a whole. Good. I'm very happy for Bray Wyatt. And that's the position that he deserves. And it goes to show you, it really does. It goes to show you that even after all this time, even after being away for over a year, not knowing where he may end up, even after all the bullshit he had to go through, even after all the bullshit, all the shit creative writing, all of that, the fans never gave up on Bray Wyatt. And the fans, they saw and they knew how much of an asset Bray Wyatt really is and how valuable a guy like Wyndham Rotunda really is, how creative he is. And they showed their appreciation, and now he's once again the top merch seller. Good. He should have always been in that position. And he should have always been a position where he was the face of the company. That didn't happen because of the old administration. Now that he's back, this is going to be a great thing to see. It's going to be great to see how everything works itself out and how Bray Wyatt conducts himself going into the future, who he's going to feud with, the matches that he could potentially have. It's going to be a great thing to see. Moving on here, we got a report from WWE. They recently announced that Montreal, Canada will play host to the Elimination Chamber on Saturday, February 18th, 2023. This will actually mark the first pay-per-view for WWE in Montreal in 14 years. It's a pretty big deal. Pretty big fucking deal. And you know what? I like this. And you know why? It's because when you go to crowds like this, when you go to the crowds like Philly, and you go to the crowds like Montreal, and sometimes Dallas, Miami, sometimes Brooklyn, New York. When it comes to big pay-per-views like this, Clash at the Castle, they went to Cardiff, Wales. You see how loud they are. The crowds can really make or break shows. And the fact that they're going to Montreal for the Elimination Chamber, this is going to take the Elimination Chamber up a few notches because of how good the crowd is going to react to what they are seeing. And that's the one thing that I love about pro wrestling. Pro wrestling, when it comes to pro wrestling, a crowd can really make or break a show, a match, an angle. Really, you listen to that crowd during that Bloodline segment last night on SmackDown. Sami Zayn has risen to heights that I didn't even think that he could rise to on the main roster. I thought he was going to be completely dead in the water throughout his entire career. But even before Vince McMahon retired, Sami Zayn was building such a great reputation for himself as a member of the Bloodline, and that segment proved it with how the crowd reacted to him. It's a big thing. It's a really big thing. So I'm very happy to hear this because it's going to make the Elimination Chamber feel a little bit more lively with how good the Canadian crowds really are. Their reaction to Gargano, their reaction to that Edge and Damian Priest match a couple months ago, their reactions when Kevin Owens comes. You know, if Kevin Owens is on that card, he's going to be the most overact on the fucking show. It's going to be a great thing to see. Let's talk about GCW, Game Changer Wrestling. I know not many people watch Game Changer Wrestling, and neither do I, because, quite frankly, it really doesn't interest me. The only guy that I can honestly tell you is a guy that I would invest my time in GCW is Joey Janela, because Joey Janela is great. Joey Janela is very, very good. Joey Janela is vastly underrated as a professional wrestler. The guy can go. He's not just a deathmatch specialist. He can legitimately fucking wrestle. That's what I like about Janela. Everyone else couldn't give a fuck about him. But according to Wrestling Republic, they've learned that GCW agreed to a deal with WWE to have their shows on demand on Peacock. Now, this is going to be similar to Progress's deal with WWE. No wrestlers from GCW will be appearing on WWE TV. Only shows from the past will be available to rewatch on Peacock. Now, this is pretty much a non-factor in the landscape of the pro wrestling scene. This is a non-factor to WWE, so no one's really going to give a shit about this in the long run. However, the one thing that I will say, and this is actually a smart business move on GCW's part, it could very well result in a boost in ticket sales for their events. Because obviously with Peacock and how many people are on Peacock, how many people watch WWE on Peacock, they're going to snoop around on Peacock and they're going to find the GCW shows, and if it interests them, they're going to end up going out and buying tickets to a GCW show if it's in their area. So in hindsight, it's a decent little business move on GCW's part, but ultimately it's a non-factor, but it was in the news, just wanted to get it out there. This is a big report right here. And this I find hilarious. Considering how all these fucking morons on social media can be. Sean Aziz, he stated on the Pro Wrestling Spotlight podcast that there was a conversation about Warner Bros. Discovery running AEW ads during sporting games. Many ads have actually been airing during TBS coverage of the MLB playoffs. Pro Wrestling Spotlight co-host Bob Smith wondered about the strategy since it was of people going through tables and Chris Jericho attacking ring announcers. Aziz, he said that he's heard that Warner Bros. Discovery is very happy with the product and the ads are a part of the strategy to get more eyes on it. Oh, but Brock L. Lesnar, 217-567-8910-123-456-54321 on Twitter, told me that AEW is dying. Oh, but the guy with the Alexa Bliss Avi was telling me that AEW was going to be bankrupt within 3 years. Oh, but Jim Cornette, that fucking retard with the fucking pro wrestling podcast that only retards listen to because retards listen to retards, he told me that AEW was going to be done within a year. Oh, wait a minute. Eric Bischoff, you know, the guy that lost to WWE because he didn't know how to run a fucking business. Eric Bischoff, he told me that there's no story in AEW and the ratings have been tanking. Meanwhile, here is Warner Bros. Discovery very, very happy with AEW. Isn't that just fun? Isn't that just fun to see? Really, I find it so comedic. And you know for a fact, you know for a fact that there are going to be moronic inbreds out there that are going to try and move the goalpost as far as they could possibly move it. These people are legitimately sad, pathetic little creatures. And I just sit back and laugh at them. I legitimately sit back and laugh at them because I love when other people are doing great things and they're succeeding, just like Tony Khan is succeeding. He's not great. He's not a perfect guy by any means, but the fact that they're succeeding in the way that they are for still a young upstart company, it is a great thing to see, and it just warms my soul to see these fucking retards just get all pissy at the fact that there is a wrestling company that is not WWE that is succeeding beyond their wildest expectations. It's a wonderful thing to see. Oh, but wait, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Didn't Bailey fan 215-6669 tell me that AEW was actually going to fire all these fucking people because their television ratings aren't generating enough money for them? Fuck these people. Fuck these people. I love it. Absolutely fucking love it. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. It don't stop there. Listen to this. Wade Keller. Wade Keller of PW Torch. He reported that the reports of the AEW locker room being in shambles is actually false. Here's what he stated. Now, before I read what he said, I don't listen to Wade Keller avidly, but I would like to believe that he would not put this shit out there if it wasn't true, if there wasn't some type of validity to it, because Wade Keller is actually one of the people in the IWC that I actually have a healthy amount of respect for, and that's coming from a guy that has avidly said that I legitimately respect no one, and I really don't. I don't, because everyone's a fucking retard, except me and the people that associate with me, of course. But Wade Keller, I actually don't mind Wade Keller. I think he's fairly decent at his job. And if there's something out there and it has some validity to it, he's going to report on it because there is validity to it. And he's not just going to report on something just to get clicks and likes, sometimes like Brad Shepard does, or sometimes like Ringside News does. But Wade Keller, he stated, and I quote, "One thing I am hearing from people I talk to in AEW, active wrestlers and otherwise, is that one good thing that came out of this Punk Kenny Buck situation is that the leadership void or the leadership slots have been firmly filled by Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, and Bryan Danielson. None of the three is a perfect leader, but the three collectively are stabilizing to that locker room, and I'm not going to do a long thing about the shortcomings of each of them as leaders. Like I said, not one of them is the perfect leader for this moment in time in that locker room, but all three are good leaders, and collectively, they can help steer the ship. This locker room and AEW is not in disarray. I've been reporting this too the last couple of months, even before the Punk thing. I was told it's not as bad as the headlines make it seem." End quote. That last line should tell you all you need to know. When it comes to journalism nowadays, 99.9% of all journalists, and I don't really give a shit who you are, I don't give a shit who reads this, I really don't. It's a fucking fact, and you don't need to be a media analyst or a journalist to know this. You just need to have a working brain, and you need to watch, and you need to listen. 99.9% of journalists, they do not write or report shit because it's correct. They don't. There's always an over-exaggeration, and there's always a period where journalists They report shit merely for clicks and likes. That's exactly what the mainstream media has become. It is legitimately a liberal fucking nightmare. Really. All they fucking do in this day and age is report on shit that's going to get them clicks and that's going to get people talking. That's all they do. They don't report on it because it's factual. All this shit of racism this and sexism that. This shit ain't prominent in 2022. You have to be a fucking idiot to think about that. Really, you'd have to be a fucking retard. They report on shit like that because it gets them clicks and likes and views and it gets people talking. It's the same thing with wrestling media. It's the same thing with wrestling analytics. Me, I don't need to report anything to get people talking. You know how I get people talking? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Star. That's how I get people talking. I can get people talking by my fucking intro. I can get people talking by doing a cover of We Will Rock You, or doing a Christmas song cover, doing a Jingle Bell Rock cover like I did last year. That's how I get people talking. But these people, I should say, most journalists have zero talent. And all they do is report on shit that is going to get as many views and clicks as possible. I knew for a fact that the locker room was not as bad as all these reports made it seem. I knew that there was some validity to them, but it was not as bad as the reports were making them seem. And Wade Keller, he just proved that. He really did. If the locker room was as bad as it seemed, there would be no fucking way that the quality of the shows would have been as good as they have been. These last 2 months worth of AEW shows have been some of the best shows of the year. Really. The anniversary special, the Canadian show, Grand Slam, which I was live for. These shows have been some of the best shows of the fucking year. Really. There's no way that these shows would have been as good as they are if the quality of the locker room had dipped as much as the reports were saying. So I actually applaud, I really do. I actually applaud Wade Keller for going out of his way, reporting on this, and being as professional as possible. I give my props to Wade Keller there. I really do. And the fact that you got Chris Jericho, you got Jon Moxley, and you got Bryan Danielson, those three are the most professional of professional individuals that you could find in the wrestling world as we speak. Really. Jon Moxley, as professional and as serious as they come. Bryan Danielson, self-explanatory. Chris Jericho, self-explanatory. These three are great locker room leaders. And again, nothing's going to be perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. Even WWE has their flaws in the locker room and on TV. But I'm very, very happy to hear that the locker room has stabilized and everything is flowing fairly nicely now and it's not in disarray. So I applaud that. I applaud Wade Keller for being professional, and I applaud Jericho, Danielson, and Moxley for getting shit in order. If anything else changes, I will be sure to keep you guys updated. Louis Dangor. This fucking guy's name that I can't fucking pronounce. Louis Dangor. Apparently, he's now working with WrestleVotes. Fucking idiot. Please, if anyone knows, I don't know who, if anyone fucking knows, can you please tell me how to pronounce this guy's fucking name? Really. It gets under my skin. Either way, Louis Dangor. He's now working with WrestleVotes, and they reported that Triple H has reportedly done away with the Hell in a Cell premium live event. It was described as being, and I quote, completely dead. Now, this is a great thing. Now, I'm going to be the first to tell you right now, I didn't mind Hell in a Cell being a pay-per-view. I know some people mind that some of these pay-per-views, these gimmick pay-per-views are the way that they are. Some people mind TLC, or they mind the Hell in a Cell. They mind Money in the Bank. They mind Extreme. I don't necessarily mind them. they didn't really get under my skin. The fact that the gimmick pay-per-views existed was not the problem. What the problem was is that Vince McMahon, just like everything else that he did with WWE, he put zero effort into them. He put zero effort into them, and he put zero care into them. And why? Because Vince McMahon, for so many years, was operating with this mentality of, hey, we're WWE. They're going to watch anyway. We don't need to do a single thing. These ticket sales are going to go through the roof because we're WWE and we're such great shit. And then you got Bruce sucking on his nuts. Then you got John Laurinaitis. My name is Mr. John Laurinaitis. And you are absolutely right, Vince. We don't need to do anything because at the end of the day, they will watch in the great name of People Power. That's pretty much it. The problem was never the gimmick pay-per-view itself. The problem was the fact that there was absolutely no effort put into these shows. There was no effort put into Hell in a Cell. There was no effort put into Money in the Bank. No effort put into TLC. No, there wasn't any effort put into fucking WrestleMania. And that's their biggest show of the year. They legitimately coasted through everything. They coasted through everything. Now, I wouldn't have minded if Triple H kept Hell in a Cell around. However, this is a great move because with Triple H taking away the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view in its entirety and only bringing the Hell in a Cell structure back when it's called for, when it's needed, this is going to really swing the tide in a way in which, oh shit, now we're actually getting effort. And that's the thing with Triple H. That is the main difference between Vince and Triple H. Effort. Triple H puts effort into everything he does. There can be some lackluster shows here and there. Raw and SmackDown this week were very, very lackluster. They were not blow-away shows. They were not shows that you need to go back and rewatch at all. We did have some good wrestling on the show. We did have some great promos on the show, but ultimately the vibe just felt off. The crowd on Monday Night Raw really did not help at all. The crowd was probably the biggest factor that brought Monday Night Raw down. South Carolina fucking sucked. Absolutely sucked. However, the difference is effort. With the Hell in a Cell concept now going away, now Triple H is going to do his damnedest to put effort into feuds. That way, some feuds may call for the Hell in a Cell structure, and it would actually make sense. It's going to bring prestige back to the Hell in a Cell structure. Vince McMahon, by putting zero effort into the Hell in a Cell structure as a whole, and the pay-per-view as a whole, he absolutely tarnished the good name of Hell in a Cell and absolutely diminished all prestige that the Hell in a Cell structure had. It's not the fact that it was its own pay-per-view. It's the fact that there was no effort put into it. That is what it ultimately called for. Called for effort. Now that Vince is gone, we're finally going to get effort put back into the Hell in a Cell structure. And that effort, look, if it starts with Triple H taking away the pay-per-view, I have no issue with that at all. Here's the big one. The big one. The big news. The big rumor. The big report. I know that my boy Roman, no, not Roman Reigns. My boy Roman, he's a fellow New Jersey individual, just like I am. Fine man, a man with taste. He's wanted me to rip CM Punk apart even more. And listen, I've done it before. I'll do it again for you, Roman. I'll do it again for you. So, Dave Meltzer, 2 weeks ago. Now, this is when I was away. I was away last week because I had my sister's confirmation and I had my mother's birthday last week, so there was no LFU last Saturday. But 2 weeks ago, I did not get a chance to report on this. Now, I have the chance to talk about it. Dave Meltzer discussed the whole entire situation with CM Punk. For those of you that do not know CM Punk, obviously, he went off on a fucking tyrant on the AEW all-out post-media scrum. Very childish, pretty much burying the company, burying the talent, the roster, and Tony Khan because he got caught up in his feelings. Meltzer stated that CM Punk is pretty much done with AEW. They're actually looking to buy out his contract. Now, there might be a non-compete clause which would prevent him from going to WWE. He also gave an update on the situation regarding the investigation with Omega and the Bucks. He stated, and I quote, regarding Omega and the Bucks, "This thing feels like it's wrapping up. Feels like the Young Bucks and Omega are coming back somewhat soon. That's not official or anything like that, just that feeling. There's been teases and stuff. Obviously, this past Wednesday, we saw a little promo package for the Elite, the Bucks and Omega, with the Elite pretty much showing how they started the company, and then they slowly disintegrated into nothing. It's almost as if they were being erased from history. Little tease for their return. Triple H, initially, he was not too keen on working with CM Punk, but according to reports, Triple H has reportedly softened up his stance, and he's willing to work with Phil Brooks. Let's go one step at a time here. Let's go one step at a time. CM Punk is pretty much done with AEW. I have gone over this already, but I can't help but feel that it is legitimately depressing. It really is. It's depressing to look back at everything that happened and consume the fact that this has what it's resulted in. CM Punk, he came in, and it was probably one of the greatest moments of professional wrestling's modern era. Probably the greatest moment of the millennium so far. It was him returning and then Bryan Danielson winning the World Championship. Those two moments were two of the best moments of the millennium. Really. CM Punk was given probably the best treatment that one could be given from an AEW perspective. He was brought in, became easily the face of the company on night one. He went into the latter half of 2021. Great matches, great feuds. He entered into a feud with MJF, which resulted in two great matches. One of them in his hometown of Chicago, where he put over MJF. And then another one in which he had a great storytelling dog collar match with MJF at Revolution. He unfortunately got injured after he won the World Championship. And to think that before he won the World Championship, all of this shit started because of a fucking promo and a rumor. A promo from Adam Page and a rumor about the Bucks trying to keep Colt Cabana in AEW / Ring of Honor, employed by Tony Khan, because CM Punk didn't like him. To think, that's what it started with. I have already ranted on this, and I already went in depth on this. You can go back and watch the LFU from about 7-8 weeks ago, and I did a huge-ass rant on this. There is absolutely no innocent party here. No one should be taking sides. No one should be favoring one guy over the other. Everyone was in the wrong. Punk was in the wrong. Tony Khan was in the wrong. Omega, the Bucks, and Adam Page. They were all in the wrong. All of them. I said it once, I'll say it again. Professionalism, professionalism, professionalism. There's absolutely no fucking reason why Adam Page should have gone out of his way to say what he said about CM Punk in that final promo before their match at Double or Nothing. And if he did go out and say that, Tony Khan should have been right on top of him. Or Punk himself, he should have gone up to Adam Page. He should have said, hey, Steven, come over here. Can we talk about that? I don't think that was very professional. I would not like you to do that at all. Tony Khan should have reprimanded Adam Page, and that should have been it. There should have been no follow-up. But the fact that Punk sat on that shit for 3 months, before he came back, and he mentioned Adam Page in that promo when he was feuding with Jon Moxley at the time, going into All Out 2022. That's legitimately your biggest concern. Your biggest concern is a couple of words in a promo pretty much implying that you wanted to get Colt Cabana fired. If you're telling us, and he fucking ranted on that media scrum. If he's telling us that that shit is not true, why are you getting so pissed off about it? Why are you getting so pissed off about it if it's not true? It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. So at the end of the day, you can just let it slide. But he can't. He can't. Why? Because Punk, in his heart of hearts, he's a fucking juvenile. He's a liberal, juvenile pussy. He is. I'm sorry. He is. I can't even wrap my head around this shit. I really can't. Cannot wrap my head around this shit. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You're letting your emotions take over for what could have been and should have been and would have been one of the biggest defining moments of your career and life. All for a simple promo and a fucking rumor that we don't even know is true. I don't even think it's true. Why would Omega and the Bucks deliberately go out of their way to piss off CM Punk by trying to keep Colt Cabana employed by Tony Khan? What sense would that make? What sense would that make? I don't believe that for one single solitary second. He should have gone out of his way to talk to them privately about that and clear the air on shit. And if they did do that, then you know what? That's on them. That's on them for being insecure, jealous pussies. Because at the end of the day, we can look at Punk and we can look at the Bucks and Omega. The Bucks and Omega separately are all better wrestlers than CM Punk. So if they're better wrestlers than CM Punk, and CM Punk, he had a lot less time on his wrestling career than they did. They have at least 5, 6, 7, 8 more years left in the business. Punk, after his contract was up, he probably would have been gone, never to be seen on AEW TV again. There would be no reason to keep CM Punk around. He came in for 3 years, and he did his job. He's not going to be wrestling until he's 50. He's not going to pull a Ric Flair and retire at like 60, 78, 80 years old. He's not. So what are they getting all pissy about? No, I don't believe that they did that. But if they did, then you know what? That's on them. That's on them. Because they knew how much Punk meant to AEW and the longevity that Punk would have kept AEW around for. Punk and the Bucks and Omega, they all let their fucking feelings and envy and jealousy and juvenile high school, it's legitimately like fucking high school. Ridiculous. That's where Page was in the wrong with the promo. Punk was in the wrong with everything that he said. Now, again, he has every right to feel the way that he feels, but the way that he went about it, completely fucking ridiculous. Now we're looking down the barrel of Tony Khan potentially buying out CM Punk's contract. You know what? Good. Good. Because this is going to boost Tony Khan's credibility tenfold. This is going to send a message to everyone in the locker room to get their shit together. If you pull what Punk pulled and you step out of line, I have no problem firing you and getting you the fuck out of here, just like I got Phil the fuck out of here. I don't even know how CM Punk can look himself in the mirror and be proud of himself. I don't know how Punk can look in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm proud with what I've accomplished. I'm proud with what I did. And it really makes WWE actually look like they were right about Punk back then. How right were they? Such a different light being painted now. There's a non-compete clause because they're worried about him going to WWE. I don't see him going to WWE. I really don't. And, Triple H can say that he's softened his stance up on CM Punk, but at the end of the day, I really don't think Triple H would go after him. And there's a reason being. He's not going to go after him like that because at the end of the day, Triple H, and the reason why people love him so much is because he did something that Vince McMahon never could have done. He went out there and he built a stable locker room where people can relax and no one's walking on eggshells. Under the Vince McMahon administration, everyone was worried if they were even going to have a job the next day. No one was in a good position unless your name was Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar over there. Or Charlotte Flair. Fuck Charlotte Flair. With Triple H and the great locker room that he's built, with locker room morale being at an all-time high, with everyone backstage finally feeling at ease, finally feeling happy to come to work, why would he want to jeopardize that by bringing someone who cannot be professional to save his fucking life in Phil Brooks? Why would he bring someone in who is as unprofessional as a fucking 12-year-old kid hyped up on fucking Pop Rocks and Coke? And I mean Coca-Cola, not the other type of Coke. Why would Triple H risk the locker room morale being lowered by bringing in Phil Brooks? Doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Plus, how could Punk himself go into that locker room? How could Punk himself go into that locker room and face all the people that were there when he left? How could Punk go into that locker room, face all the people there in which were there when he left, and be able to face them with a straight fucking face? No way. No fucking way. The only reason why Triple H would even bring Punk in or even think about bringing Punk in is out of fucking pettiness for Tony Khan. And if I'm going to be quite honest with you, I am sick of this shit. I am sick of the tribalism. I am sick of this WWE AEW garbage. I'm sick of all this shit. I'm sick of AEW's dying. I'm sick of Triple H sucks. I am sick of we need Vince McMahon back. I am sick of this petty fucking war. I am sick of the war between Tony Khan and Triple H. All I fucking want is a fucking harmonious wrestling industry where everyone can work together and help out each other. And it goes to show you how fucking selfish some of these CEOs are. Even Tony Khan, even Triple H, they cannot just put their fucking pettiness aside. I don't give a shit what you think about Tony Khan, but I'm going to put Triple H even more at fault because at the end of the day, it's still WWE. And Tony Khan has never deliberately gone out of his way to counter-program something WWE. If he would do something, it was because WWE would do something first. WWE would always make the first move in trying to counter-program AEW, whether it be with NXT on Wednesday nights, whether it be with Clash at the Castle on the same weekend as All Out, no matter what it may be, whether it be NXT fucking Deadline on the same day as Ring of Honor Final Battle. Whatever it may be. It pisses me off. Really. It pisses me the fuck off. Ridiculous. Stranger things have happened. Really, stranger things have happened. But I can't see it. I can't see him going to WWE. I just can't. Stranger things have happened, but we will see. But the main story here is Tony Khan doing the right thing and getting him out of the company because of what he did. Making an example out of Phil Brooks and letting everyone know, I am a fucking CEO. This is going to boost Tony Khan's credibility tenfold, and I hope it's fucking closed. Do I want it back? Do I want all of this to be worked out? Do I want CM Punk back? As a fan, I do. As a fan, I do. But at the end of the day, there's no professionalism. Sucks. The fact that I can be more professional at 23 years old rather than these grown men at 40 plus years old. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. That's what's going on with Punk. I'm going to keep you guys updated on everything that is going on with the CM Punk AEW debacle, and we'll see how everything turns out in the end, although I do not see Punk coming back to the company at all. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are having a good time. We got 4 weekly shows to go over, and we have just finished up the news, rumors, and reports. You guys have been great. I hope you guys are having a great weekend as well. I hope you got something cool planned for this Halloween weekend. I'll be going to a Halloween party a little bit later. Please, if you have not done so already, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you are not already liked the stream on my channel, like it on my channel, then go over to the Hardcore Sports channel, like it over there. We got plenty more to get into. Plenty more to get into. Let's talk about Raw. Let's talk about Raw. Raw was easily the worst show under the Triple H administration. Easily the worst show. I don't know what it was. It had a lot to do with the crowd. And the crowd, my God. It's like they were wrestling in front of fucking mannequins. But even then, I think mannequins would have been able to make more noise than fucking South Carolina. This crowd was as dead can be. The crowd actually made the show that much worse. And that's sad. So we had the Judgment Day kicking off the show. Rhea Ripley said Judgment Day runs Monday Night Raw. She says that Dominic Mysterio is all man. Obviously, looks like Rhea Ripley is titillating the juices of Dominic's guilty pleasures. Wink, wink. So Balor hyped up Dominic's victory last week over AJ Styles. Priest said, it's time for you all to rise. And finally, Damian Priest, my guy, he goes, all rise. He gets that deep voice, the all rise. Love that shit. We need that shit every week. Love it. So, rise and show respect for the greatest luchador in history, Dominic Mysterio. So Dominic obviously gets a shower of fucking booze. I love the heat that Dominic gets. Dominic said that Judgment Day were the only ones who ever believed in him. And I beat AJ Styles clean in the middle of this ring. I'm this generation's Eddie Guerrero. No. Eddie was his generation's Dominic Mysterio. So this got an insane amount of heat, which I was fucking loving every minute of this. The OC then interrupted. Styles then told Dom to shut up. And he goes, you're not it. You're not Eddie Guerrero. You're this generation's James Ellsworth. So the OC then entered the ring, and Styles says, OC is going to pick Judgment Day off one by one. Balor then took credit for starting the club and how everyone is living off of his legacy. Carl Anderson then said it's time to stop talking And it's time to remind everyone why Carl Anderson is one of the toughest men in the room. So we got a match. Let's clear the ring and let's do it right now. So this was probably one of the better acts on Raw. Judgment Day is great. And we got a great match with Carl Anderson and Finn Balor. Probably the second best match of the night. So Balor's knee was obviously a target of Carl Anderson. Balor then regained control and tried to wear down Anderson. Anderson mounted a comeback with a beautiful spine buster. I love Carl Anderson's spine buster. Really, I do. So Carl Anderson then came back from commercial with a running powerbomb for a 2. Eye of the Hurricane by Balor. Anderson kicked out. Carl Anderson with a diving middle rope neckbreaker, which looked great. Balor just kicked out. We had a sling blade connecting. Shotgun dropkick. Anderson got back up. Big superplex connects. Dominic then caused a distraction. Styles then attacked him. We got a big melee on the outside. Rhea Ripley has been fucking awesome in her role. Rhea Ripley body slammed Luke Gallows. Yes, she picked him up, she held him, and she body slammed Luke Gallows, which looked awesome. Ripley then delivered a low blow to Carl Anderson behind the referee's back. Balor then with a roll-up for the win, and Balor wins a very good match to open the show against Carl Anderson, who in his own right is a great professional wrestler. Carl Anderson is doing great work on Raw, but he is not too favorable on New Japan Pro Wrestling's behalf, because if he doesn't show up next week at Crown Jewel, if he doesn't show up next week at Autumn Battle, then he's going to have to relinquish the never open weight championship. So there's a lot of heat there between New Japan and WWE. Ugh. I would not want to be them. The Miz then came out to address the fans after Johnny Gargano, says he knows something that The Miz knows. Why is Lumis doing this? Miz went on about how Gargano said that he has something that he's kept secret, and he says he's right. So he goes, a lunatic was carried out by security, and he kidnapped me. What are we missing? Well, the night I was about to win the U.S. title, he showed me why I was to forget. I can't even read my own fucking notes. He showed me that the reason was clear as day. He was going on about how the lunatic, a.k.a. Lumis, he obviously didn't say Lumis's name. He goes, that lunatic targeted me because of my mind. I chose to give my knowledge to an up-and-coming superstar in Tommaso Ciampa, and he went after me because of that. I didn't want Ciampa to know that this is happening because of him. Gargano then came out, and he said, no. You're full of bullshit. I just texted your friend, Tommaso Ciampa. Your friend isn't missing. He's injured. You're a liar. I would just want you to tell the real truth to end this all. So Gargano had a whistle, and he goes, I have a whistle. I'm not afraid to blow it. So Miz then said, I have been telling nothing but the truth. All of a sudden, R-Truth came out. R-Truth came out, rapping, singing, what's up? Gargano then said, what's up? And Truth goes, you want to tell the truth? Well, I'm right here, dog. So Truth said, you ain't talking about me, because Miz was bashing his hometown. So Truth goes, you ain't talking about my hometown's mac and cheese. So Gargano then said, are you going to fight him? He goes, I know Dexter deflated your balls, but I didn't realize you didn't have any left. So then Miz accepted R-Truth's challenge. So we get Miz and R-Truth. This was pretty much a waste of time. Really a nothing match. Legitimately went 3 minutes. And Miz got distracted because he saw a hooded figure with gloves in the crowd. R-Truth rolled him up for the win. And the hooded figure was unmasked. to be Johnny Gargano. Listen, I understand what they're doing, and I understand they don't want to just throw it out there with no rhyme or reason, and they're telling a story, but I think we're all at our wits' end. The whole thing with Lumis and The Miz has just gone on way too long. Just tell us why Lumis is attacking Miz. I don't care. We need to get Lumis away from this shit. It's overstayed its welcome. It really has. Mustafa Ali versus Austin Theory. This was a very good match. As expected, the youth generation is very much alive and well under Triple H. So Rollins, this was ridiculous right here, but this was ridiculous in the best possible way. So Rollins came out to watch the match, and he was wearing this lime-colored suit, pants, and blazer with no shirt. This booger-colored outfit. I don't know if you guys watched The Cat in the Hat growing up. I watched that movie a lot when I was a kid. The Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers. Mike Myers was the Cat in the Hat. Dakota Fanning, when she was a kid, she was in that movie. And that liberal piece of shit, Alec Baldwin, he was in that movie too. If you guys know who I'm talking about, there was a character in the movie. His name was Mr. Humberflube. His name was Mr. Humberflube, and he wore this booger green suit. This booger green suit with a green tie and a white shirt. That's what Rollins looked like. Rollins came out looking like Mr. Humberflube from The Cat in the Hat. If you know what I'm talking about, you look that shit up. Look up Mr. Humberflube from The Cat in the Hat, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what Rollins looked like. As soon as he came out, I'm like, why is he dressed like Mr. Humberflube? But the crowd didn't give a shit. They were singing his theme song. So Theory was in control early on. Ali with a tilt-a-whirl head scissor. Ali then drop-kicked Theory in midair. Theory then tripped up Ali on the apron and delivered a neck breaker off the apron to the floor. Coming back from commercial, Ali with a cannonball onto Theory on the floor. Ali then mounted a comeback with a nice kick. Rolled through neck breaker for a 2. We had a super kick and a tornado DDT by Ali, but that got a 2 count. We had a 450 splash, missed. 450 splash, missed. Theory then with a knee drop brainbuster for a 2. Ali then with a backstabber on the money. Rollins then got involved. Theory took advantage. He hit the A-Town down, and Austin Theory got the win. Very good match. And Austin Theory got the win. I have no problem with that, but you're not really going to sell anyone on the fact that Ali deserves a U.S. title opportunity if he can't even get a fucking win. Not a very good look. So Rollins then attacked Ali. They brawled into the crowd. Rollins then screamed that he doesn't belong in the same ring as him. Ali then came out of the crowd and attacked Rollins on the stage before the referees came and broke it up. So Ali, he took out Mr. Humberflube. I guess that Mr. Humberflube, he didn't get on his good side. Ali is not a fan of Mr. Humberflube from The Cat in the Hat. Omos. Unbelievable. Omos took on 4 bums. I pray to fucking Christ. I'm not even going over this match. Omos just destroyed these fucking bums. Just tossed them around like garbage. I am not even going to go over anything else other than the fact that I pray to fucking Christ that Crown Jewel is the last time that we see Omos in a WWE ring. Have Braun beat him and then get Omos the fuck out. Omos is legitimately a waste of a payroll. Legitimately a waste of a payroll. I'm sorry. Chad Gable, shoosh, please. Chad Gable versus Elias. Didn't give a shit. Listen, I respect Elias. I have a newfound respect for Elias. He has done what he's needed to do to get better in the ring. He has done what he's needed to do to get into great shape. He looks good. He's got a great look. He's in great shape. He got better in the ring. I respect that. But Elias is dead. He's just dead. He legitimately has nothing going for him. And that's not because I hate Elias. I actually like what he can do. I actually liked what he was doing as Ezekiel. He was actually putting on some decent matches under the Ezekiel character with Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. I didn't mind him. I didn't necessarily mind him. What the problem is the fact that he has just been buried so far into the fucking ground by the old administration that no one gives a fuck about him. And a match with Chad Gable, I'm sorry, it didn't help. I don't mind Elias, and I love Chad Gable. I respect Elias, but Elias is just dead. Dead. So Elias was having his way with Gable, chain wrestling him early on. He told Gable to shoosh. We had a nice suplex by Elias for a 2. Gable then with a flying headbutt on Elias for a 2. Elias then mounted a comeback. Big splash. Gable with an ankle lock on Elias. Elias got free. Cliffhanger DDT for a 2. Elias then caught. This was a great spot right here. Probably one of the best spots of the night. Gable was mid-moonsault, and as he was coming down in the moonsault, Elias, with a rising knee right to the fucking head, I legitimately thought that he may have broken Chad Gable's nose. It looked awesome. So Elias then hit the final cut, what Dustin Rhodes does, and he wins it. The number 1 guy, Otis, then attacked Elias before Riddle came out to help. Riddle took out Gable and Otis with a PK and a springboard floating bro, and he helped Elias up. Why they're being paired together, I don't know. If anything, I feel like they're just coasting with Matt Riddle. They're legitimately just coasting with Matt Riddle until Randy Orton comes back. And that sucks because Matt Riddle and Rollins were putting on some of the best programming on WWE TV. Great programming. And what do they do with it? They end it at the Fight Pit, and then that's it. Stupid. So JBL was then in the ring. He ragged on North Carolina. They were in North Carolina. North Carolina, South Carolina. Same fucking thing. Either way, North Carolina, dead. Dead in the water. So he ragged on North Carolina for liking Johnny Gargano. North Carolina says, it's where dreams come to die. Let me introduce you to the modern-day wrestling god, Baron Corbin. So we get Baron Corbin versus Johnny Gargano, and for me, at least, this was probably the best thing on the show. Easily the best thing on the show, even though the crowd fucking sucked. This was a great match. Now, I know that it's not really clicking now. It's not really clicking. The partnership between JBL and Corbin, it's not necessarily clicking right now, but it's impossible for something to click when it's only been around for 2 weeks. I do believe that if we give it a couple months, I do believe that Corbin and JBL could turn into a solid little act. JBL is a heat magnet, and Baron Corbin, he put on 2 great matches, back-to-back weeks in a row. So I can't really shit on that. So Gargano and Corbin, they actually matched up very, very well together. And I would not mind seeing another match between these two. So Corbin tried to wear down Gargano. We had a rolling elbow by Gargano and a drop kick sending Corbin to the floor. We had a super kick connecting. He went for a dive on Corbin, but Corbin delivered a world's strongest slam to Gargano onto the announce table. Coming back from commercial, Corbin then beeled Gargano across the ring. He had a torture rack neck breaker for a 2. Gargano then mounted a comeback with a running bulldog and a slingshot spear. Corbin then with a fallaway slam. Gargano then came back with some forearms. Corbin hit a beautiful deep 6. That got a 2. Super kick by Gargano for a 2. Corbin then took apart the table. Corbin was then sent into the steps. Gargano stood on the table. He took JBL's hat, put it on, mocked JBL before delivering a tornado DDT to Baron Corbin off of the table. He then was on the apron looking for one final beat, but JBL tripped up Gargano behind the referee's back. Corbin with the end of days, and Baron Corbin gets a win. I do not mind it whatsoever. I do not mind it whatsoever, simply because of the fact that Gargano is bulletproof. Gargano is great at what he does. This is the type of material that we love from Gargano. He's an underdog. And Corbin, I mean, if Corbin would have lost in his second week fighting alongside JBL, then the gimmick would have pretty much been dead. Corbin needs to continue to win in order for this gimmick to actually pick up some steam. Right now, it's very lukewarm. Lukewarm, no one gives a shit about it. It's just there. But I do believe in time, it could very well become something of substance. So we had a great promo package with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar hyping up their match at Crown Jewel. And Brock Lesnar is actually returning next week. So it should be good. Main event. This was a very good match between Bianca Belair and Bayley. Why is this match happening? I don't fucking know. But these two women actually put on a great match. So Bianca was in control early on with a pescado over the top rope onto Bayley. Coming back from commercial, Bayley with a suplex on the floor to Bianca. Bayley then took over and she bounced Bianca's left arm off the top rope. That became the target of the match. Bianca with a vertical suplex. She mounted a comeback. She had a springboard moonsault on Bayley for a 2. Bayley then with an arm breaker to Bianca off of the barricade. Coming back from a second commercial, Bayley tried to hit the KOD on Bianca. But Bianca countered it, and she hit a Bayley to belly on Bayley herself. Bayley kicked out. We had a spinebuster by Bianca for a 2. Bayley to belly by Bayley to Bianca for a 2. Damage control then tore apart the announce table. She dropped damage control, did Bianca. Powerbombed Bayley on the table, put her into the post, and then dropped her head first on the apron. Io then sent Bianca into the steps, and Dakota Kai hit a boot on Bianca. The ref was completely oblivious to this, but he saw damage control put Bianca back into the ring. So the ref, he was getting ready to kick damage control out. All of a sudden, some random chick comes flying off the top rope onto everyone. The ref was down. Then all of a sudden, this woman slides into the ring, and she takes out Bianca, and it was revealed to be Nikki Cross. Yes, no more Nikki Trash. No more Nikki Ass Cheeks. It is Nikki Cross. She dropped Bianca. Bayley pinned Bianca as Jessica Carr, the female referee, came out, counted the pin, 1, 2, 3. She then attacked Bayley as well, and she stared and snarled into the camera. I like it. I like it. Now, I could have done without Bianca taking a fucking pinfall loss, but Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross being back as Nikki Cross and not Nikki Trash. This is a great thing because it adds another solid act in the women's division, and it gives Nikki Cross 10 times, a million times more credibility than Nikki Ash. It's a great thing to see. People are reverting back to their old selves, the names that we never should have had them lose, and the characters that they should have always been on the main roster. It's a great thing to see. Real great thing to see. Easily Triple H's worst show. Bianca losing in the main event when she's the champion. Dead crowd. Miz and Dexter Lumis have overstayed their welcome. Very lackluster show. I would not recommend you go back and watch it outside of the opening match and then the match between Gargano and Corbin. Other than that, that's it. But Nikki Cross, very happy to see her back. This is going to be a great thing to see. And I really do hope that Triple H is really going to push the limits and really make Nikki Cross that psychotic banshee that she was in NXT. It'll be a great thing to see, really. That was Raw. Not very good. Very lackluster. A few things that you can go back and rewatch, but ultimately a very skippable show. Hope you guys are having a good time. We got 3 more shows to go over, and we're going to jump right into what was easily the best show of the week. AEW Dynamite. I got to tell you. I know that TK can have a habit of oversaturating the shows, but holy shit, this show was easily one of the best flowing Dynamites that we have ever seen. Probably the best flowing Dynamite of the year, period. This show needs to be a blueprint for everything AEW related going forward. This is how the show must be. The show was fantastic. Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia, they took on Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta to kick off the show. So the babyfaces were in control early on. Garcia then came back with some chops. He took it to Wheeler Yuta. The BCC with some hammer and anvil elbows before Jericho took over with a triangle drop kick on Claudio. So we then had Garcia in control, coming back from commercial. Wheeler got the hot tag. Huge splash on Chris Jericho for a 2. He took out Garcia with a big Olympic slam on Jericho. We had an assisted DDT by the BCC. Jericho was able to stay alive. Codebreaker to Claudio, but Yuta saved it. Beautiful Tope Con Hero by Yuta, taking out the JAS. Powerbomb by Claudio. Claudio then with the giant swing. He had a Jericho in the swing and Garcia in the airplane spin, and he did it simultaneously. Looked amazing. So he then senton Hager. This was great. Spin combination. He did a rolling cannonball senton on Hager, stomped to Garcia on the floor, big elbow to Angelo Parker. He was taking out everyone, up to the top rope, diving uppercut, and then he hit the Gotch neutralizer on Chris Jericho, and he won it. This was a very fun match. Very fun match here to kick off the show. And in the end, it looks like we could be getting a rematch between Claudio and Jericho at Ring of Honor Final Battle for the world title, which I have absolutely no problem with because their first match was fucking phenomenal. Their first match was great. So I talked about this in the beginning. We got a very symbolic video package highlighting moments of the Elite, resulting in each of them evaporating. Like I said, being erased from history. Very, very interesting. I don't know where this is going, but it's intriguing. It's intriguing. Very, very intriguing. I'll tell you what else is intriguing. This storyline between Swerve and Our Glory, which is great. I love me some Swerve and Our Glory. What they're doing is fantastic. And I'm a Swerve guy. I am a big-time Swerve guy. Really, I am. So Swerve and Our Glory took on FTR in a #1 contenders match, and this is a great thing. This is a great thing because Swerve and Our Glory won. And I'm going to tell you why it's a great thing after we go over what we're going to go over. So the Acclaimed came out with Billy Gunn to watch the match. Keith Lee did a spot. This was great by Keith Lee. Keith Lee leapfrogged both members of FTR and then gave them a crossbody. The guy is fucking insane, and he should absolutely be one of the top people to be fighting and potentially beating MJF after MJF inevitably wins the world title. After MJF goes on a long run with it, Keith Lee should be one of the guys that they should be considering to take that title off of MJF. Keith Lee is great. So, coming back from commercial, Swerve was in control before Dax made the tag. Dax unloaded with some jabs and some chops. Back in the ring, we had some back and forth rolls between Dax and Swerve. We had a German suplex barrage by Dax. We had a tag to Cash. Powerbomb by Dax. Snapdragon suplex by Cash. Beautiful combination. That got a 2. Swerve then tagged in Lee. Swerve and Lee with a double team strike. Assisted powerbomb on Cash. He kicked out. Dax then caught Swerve in midair and delivered a beautiful slingshot powerbomb. He then got pounced by Lee, and he headbutted Cash. We had a pin by Lee, but Cash kicked out. Lee then had Cash up top. Dax tagged in. They delivered a beautiful superplex, and then Cash delivered a splash to Keith Lee's back. Keith Lee kicked out. Swerve then took out Cash, and the Guns were also at ringside. He took out Cash. All of a sudden, Cash came back in after Swerve was taken out, delivered a big rig on Lee, but Swerve pulled Dax out of the ring. Swerve then sent Cash into the barricade. Lee was down. Swerve delivered a low blow behind the referee's back. Keith Lee was not aware of it, and he hit ground zero for the win. Excellent match. Excellent fucking match. Afterwards, the Guns attacked Keith Lee, and they attacked FTR before the Acclaimed came out to make the save. Why was this the right outcome? We're going to talk about that. This was the right outcome. This was the right outcome because if FTR goes up against the Acclaimed, now it's going to happen. It will happen, and FTR will win the AEW World Tag Team titles. It will happen. But right now is not the time. The Acclaimed have only been the tag team champions for 2 months. You're really looking to take the titles off of the Acclaimed after 2 months of holding them? What sense does that make? If FTR fight the Acclaimed at any point in time, that's it. The Acclaimed's tag team title reign is over. It's over. Absolutely over. Now, when is FTR going to fight the Acclaimed? I'm probably looking at maybe Revolution next year. Right now is not the time. Because any time that we get the Acclaimed versus a team, it's the Acclaimed that's going to end up winning except FTR. Except FTR. With Swerve and Our Glory winning, this is a much better scenario. A much better scenario because now we get a third match between the two, which is going to be great, just like the last two were great. And then Swerve and Our Glory will lose, which will result in Swerve inevitably turning on Lee, and boom, boom, we have ourselves a feud that is going to take both Keith Lee and Swerve to the next level. It's going to be a great thing to see. That's why this match had the right outcome. FTR will be tag team champions once again, but now is not the right time. Not the right time. This match was excellent. Probably the best thing on the show. And everything on the show is great, but this was the best one. MJF. My God, do I love me some MJF. MJF was interviewed by Renee Paquette. So MJF was hyping himself up. He called everyone devil worshippers. MJF, he then goes, hey, Renee, can I take the mic for a second? Oh, you mean this guy I'm facing? So he was mocking Moxley's walk, and he goes, he's mocking Moxley's promos. He goes, MJF, I'm gonna mash your bones, man. I'm gonna drink your blood. I'm gonna gargle your piss. I was laughing my ass off this entire fucking promo. And the best part about it is he didn't go full-fledged MJF, but he still managed to pull out a fantastic promo. So MJF told Renee to shut her mouth, and he said that Moxley is mid. He then called Regal a flea-infested elderly rat, which I loved. He then promised he won't use the Dynamite Diamond Ring on Moxley because he doesn't need it. All I need is a grudge, and I am fighting every sorry scumbag that told me I wasn't good enough, and I will shove this chip on my shoulder down your throats when I become the AEW champion of the world. Great. It's a great thing to see. So Stokely Hathaway then came out. MJF, he knocked the mic out of Stokely's hand. And MJF said, you got a little too comfortable with me since we've known each other. When I beat Moxley, I want him at 110%, so you don't lay a hand on him or you're fired. And then he goes, oh yeah, now it's time for my Uber over catchphrase. My name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it. Awesome stuff as per usual. I love me whenever MJF is on my TV screen. Sammy Guevara. He took on Bryan Danielson. This was yet another excellent fucking match. Excellent fucking match. Sammy went right after Bryan. Sammy then with a beautiful springboard cutter on Bryan for a 2. Bryan then came back with some chops. Sammy with some stiff forearms. Bryan absorbed most of them. Coming back from commercial, Sammy kicked Bryan in the chest. Kind of like how Bryan kicks people in the chest. Sammy kicked people in the chest. So he kicked Bryan in the chest. Bryan then came back with a big right hand, big right slap, right to the face. Kicks and chops, and we had a big flying lariat, big tope suicida, and a missile drop kick. Sammy then with a standing Spanish fly for a 2. Both men were on the top. Sammy flipped out of a back suplex. Sammy missed 2 moonsaults. He was then locked in the label lock before he got to the ropes. Back on the top rope once again. Sammy with an avalanche Spanish fly, which always looks beautiful. He kicked out, did Bryan. Bryan with a poison Rana on Sammy, and then a big Busaiku knee. He then kicked Sammy's head in and locked in the triangle choke, and Sammy Guevara passed out. And that looks like that was his punishment after what happened with the Andrade scenario. And you know what? Good on Tony Khan for doing that and having Bryan kick Sammy Guevara's head in. Because, you know, you want to complain about Andrade working stiff? I'm going to put you with Bryan, and he's going to beat the shit out of you. Speaking of working stiff, Jamie Hayter. She was on the show. She took on Riho. And these two matched up very well together. This was a very good women's match. The quality of women's matches has really stepped up as of lately. And you could really see that the women are really working their ass off when it comes to the time that they get on AEW TV. The quality of women's matches has been great, really. So, Riho and Jamie Hayter, they traded strikes and back and forth counters. Riho then with a diving crossbody to the floor onto Hayter. She took that beautifully. Hayter then sent Riho arm first into the barricade and then delivered a suplex on the apron. Coming back from commercial, Riho with a drop kick and a roll-through stomp right to the chest. Rebel then got taken out. 619 by Hayter was blocked, and Riho countered that counter into a nice Northern Lights suplex for a 2. Hayter then with a beautiful brain buster for a 2. Hurricane Rana by Riho. Hayter then caught Riho. This was great. Hayter had Riho by the neck, and she popped up Riho. I think she was looking for like a pop-up punch or a pop-up slam. She had Riho by the neck, popped her up, and Riho landed on Jamie Hayter's back into a beautiful code red, beautiful fluid code red. Hayter got out of it. We had a diving double foot stomp missed. Hayter with a nasty looking backbreaker. Riho came back with a Snapdragon suplex for a 2. Hayter then with a boot and a nasty ripcord lariat for the win. Very good women's match. More Jamie Hayter, please. Jamie Hayter's going to be an absolute star. And speaking of a star, we have ourselves officially a women's championship match for Full Gear. As Toni Storm, she did come out and she held up the women's championship. So it looks like we're getting Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter for the AEW Interim Women's World Championship at Full Gear, which I have absolutely zero issues with. That is a perfect match for the show, and it makes the show better. Next week, we got a pretty big show. We got Jon Moxley and Lee Moriarty. We got Darby Allin and Jay Lethal. We also got Rey Fenix versus Luchasaurus versus Orange Cassidy. All Atlantic Championship next week. Should be good. We also got Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir. God help us all that fucking Marina Shafir is on television. God help us all. And we also got a sit-down interview with Renee Paquette and Britt Baker and Saraya, which should be great. I can see that being a match confirmed for Full Gear. Main event. Jon Moxley versus Penta El Cero Miedo. This was a great match for the AEW World Championship. And whenever Jon Moxley is on TV defending the World Championship, it is a banger guaranteed. So they traded some back and forth roll-ups. Penta then with a beautiful tope con hilo onto Moxley. Coming back from commercial, Moxley with a belly-to-belly to Penta into the buckle. Moxley then mounted a comeback. We had a super kick by Penta, boot by Moxley, sling blade by Penta for a 2. Moxley came in with a cutter and a stuffed pile driver for a 2. We had a bulldog choke by Moxley. Penta got to the ropes. He got free, and then he delivered an arm breaker to Moxley. Moxley then kicked out. Moxley was on the steps. Penta, he was going for a destroyer on the steps. All of a sudden, Moxley caught Penta and DDT'd him on the steps. Back in the ring, Penta recovered. He delivered a Tree of Woe double stomp and then delivered the Fear Factor. That connected on the money. Moxley just barely kicked out. Penta was then caught with a paradigm shift, and then Moxley rolled through into a Death Rider to retain the championship in a great match. Afterwards, the Firm then came out and attacked Moxley after the match. The BCC was actually locked, chained inside their locker room. Perfect. So MJF then came out and he was conflicted. He ran out, pulled them off of Moxley, and fired Stokely Hathaway. All of a sudden, they then attacked MJF, beat him down, ripped his shirt off. Page delivered the Ego's Edge on MJF, while Morrissey then took MJF and choke slammed him through the timekeeper's table. What does this mean? I don't know. Now, Ethan Page, he is in the World Title Eliminator Tournament. I mean, if Ethan Page wins, I definitely wouldn't mind seeing Ethan Page versus MJF. Is he going full-fledged babyface MJF? No, I don't see that. If this is going to be a babyface run, the only way I can see this working out is if they bring back the Pinnacle. Maybe that's where they're going. I wouldn't mind that. I think that would be very interesting. Maybe we see MJF try and recruit back the Pinnacle to fight the Firm, which I wouldn't mind. I think that would be a pretty decent fucking decision. We could get some really good matches out of that. We'd get FTR and the Guns. We could get Shawn Spears and Lee Moriarty. We could get Wardlow and W. Morrissey or Wardlow and Ethan Page. I don't mind that at all. I think that's actually a great fucking move. We'll see what happens, but there is no fucking way that MJF does not walk out the world champion. He cannot. He needs to walk out the world champion. He needs to. But this was a great match. Great match to close the show. Great segment to close the show. And a lot of unpredictability. This is the AEW that we love. Unpredictability. Unpredictability and a good type of unpredictability. More of this please. Great show for AEW. Excellent stuff. And it got a good rating, too. It was only 3,000 short of 1 million. Good stuff. Hope you guys are still having a good time. We got 2 more shows to go over. We have just surpassed 90 minutes. We are going on 100 minutes here on the stream. And I hope you guys have loved this return of the LFU. We got plenty more scenarios and plenty more great content coming to you next month. In the month of November, it's going to be good, including Michkovsky next week on the rundown for WWE Crown Jewel of 2022. Anyway, SmackDown. SmackDown. Little on the lackluster side, too. Little on the lackluster side, too. And now, I'm not sure what it was, but I think it may have been the flow of the show. It definitely had something to do with Ronda. Ronda Rousey's fucking awful. It's going to be a very interesting scenario to see how this plays out. But we did have what was perhaps the best in-ring promo segment, probably the best storyline angle that WWE has done in years with Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. This segment, I cannot do this segment justice. If you have not watched this segment, you need to go out and watch it. I was laughing my ass off the entire fucking segment. So the show did not start out with the segment. The show started out with a tag team match between Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, and the Brawling Brutes, which was a very good match. Very good match in its own right. There was some miscommunication. So Jey Uso pulled Sami out of the ring. Some arguments took place before Rich Holland pounced. He pounced Solo and Jey. And then Sami went back into the ring. He got rolled up by Butch for the win. So the Brawling Brutes get the win, and they get a tag team title shot at Crown Jewel. After the match, Roman came out. This is where things started to get really good. So Roman was obviously pissed. Roman goes, "St. Louis, acknowledge me." So Roman said, I believe in coming in the ring and handling your business in the ring. And then if there's something else going on, then we handle it backstage. But if you two want to act like kids, well, we'll treat you like kids. I want you to let it all out because I want this problem fixed right now. So Zayn took the microphone. And he admitted that there's been a communication issue. There's been a communication breakdown. He says he likes Jey, but he can't seem to stand it. And I don't know what it is. But I don't want this to keep on going on, he says. I don't know what I did to you, but I'm sorry. I mean it. I just want things to be cool. I want to be chill. Can we bury the hatchet once and for all, said Sami. Sami then extended his hand to Jey. Jey then took the mic and he said, "You got about 2 seconds to get that thing out of my face." So he goes, "I don't like you. I don't like your hair. I don't like your face. I don't like you being around my family. You don't belong here. How are you going to be in the bloodline when you ain't even blood? No one here likes you, but I'm the only one that's real enough to say it to your face. You're a fake-ass oos," said Jey Uso. Zayn then said, Hold on. Why are you yelling at me? Why are you getting all mad? The tribal chief, he said he wanted peace." So Jey, immediately after this, in a fit of rage, goes, "Man, I don't give a damn what the tribal chief said." And as soon as he said that, Roman Reigns, he had his head down. He had his head down the whole segment. His head was down, and he was letting him talk. And as soon as Jey said that, you can visibly see Roman's head go up. He had this look on his face like he legitimately wanted to rip Jey Uso's head off of his shoulders. The crowd is going, ooh. So the crowd obviously know, okay, shit's about to go down now. So he stared at Jey, turned around, stared at Jey. Sammy then went, listen. Roman, he didn't mean that. He did not mean that. What he said was messed up, but he didn't mean it. He's been going through a lot lately. He hasn't been himself. So Sammy then goes, he hasn't been very Usi. So then Roman completely fucking broke. At this rate, everyone was fucking laughing. Roman smiled and laughed. Roman then, he's smiling and he goes, is that what this is about? So like Roman is like, is that it? Jey, is it because you're not feeling Usi? And as soon as he said, I swear to God, as soon as he said that, Jey Uso had to bury his face. He had to bury his face in his palms because he was fucking dying. Jey Uso, I'm telling you right now, Jey Uso wanted to let out the biggest fucking laugh that I think he has ever fucking let out. And you could see in the background, Jimmy Uso trying to hide his face because he's laughing. Sami Zayn smiling. Roman Reigns, he can't even get his fucking words out correctly. Jay's burying his face in his palms. Roman put his arm around Jey. Jey actually had to turn away. He couldn't even look at Roman because he was laughing so much. And Roman goes, no, stay right here. And Jey Uso, with his hands covering his fucking face, all of them clearly laughing. So Roman goes, if you can't find your inner Usi, I'm going to do something that you're not going to like. Jay's still laughing. He goes, I'm going to take that honorary away, and I'm going to make him a full-blown Us. We going to change his name, and we going to make him Sammy Uso, y'all. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely unbelievable. I can't even describe to you how great this was. Paul Heyman then hyped up Roman's match with Logan Paul, and that was it. Fantastic. Probably the best segment that I have seen since that promo with Dolph Ziggler and The Miz when they were fighting on SmackDown Live at the end of 2016. That promo segment was great. Excellent promo segment. That is the type of shit that we need. This was easily one of the best segments that WWE has produced in years. Sami Zayn, I don't know why, I don't know how, but it's like the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. Sami and the Bloodline is literally equivalent to the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. Two completely different people. It shouldn't work out, but it works out like a fucking charm. Sami Zayn has legitimately rejuvenated the Bloodline single-handedly. Sami Zayn, the Bloodline without Sami Zayn, I'm telling you, the Bloodline without Sami Zayn would be ice fucking cold. Ice cold. Sami Zayn is fantastic in this role. And Sami Zayn is the most over guy in the Bloodline right now. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm going to start using Usi in my everyday life. That's what DJ Storm did. DJ Storms today. DJ Storms is feeling very Usi. Here's what I want to know. I want to know every single one of my followers, are you feeling Usi? Because I'm feeling Usi. If they get an Usi t-shirt, I'm fucking buying it. I don't give a shit. I'm going to fucking buy that. I'm going to fucking buy that shit, no questions asked. You know it's fucking coming. You know an Usi shirt is coming. So from there, we had tag team match, Maximum Male Models versus New Day. This was a very, very basic tag team match. Very basic tag team match. New Day ended up winning here. So they dropped Massey, and then it's still ridiculous to say these fucking names. Seriously. Still ridiculous to say these fucking names. So he dropped Massey, did Kofi. He then hit a pendulum kick and a splash to the back of Mansoor. And then he delivered Daybreak. Him and Woods delivered Daybreak to Maximum Male Models, and that was it. That was it. Maximum Male Models lose, as they should. Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville was then interviewed in the back by Kayla Braxton. She trashed Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan then came in and attacked her, and we get a no DQ match booked for next week, which should be pretty decent. Ronda Rousey came out for her women's title open challenge. Ronda actually cut a decent little promo. Ronda actually had fucking conviction in her voice. So she said the title is back where it belongs, and I just so happen to be in the mood for an open challenge. I don't expect you to be grateful because only the great can recognize greatness. So who's feeling lucky tonight? And it was Emma. It was Emma. Tenelle Dashwood, a.k.a. Emma. I am very pleased to see Emma back. Emma back in the WWE is a great thing because Emma has always been very good. Now, the match was not good. The match was not good. And it's not because of Emma. It's because of Ronda. I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm not sure how to even describe this shit, but Ronda Rousey, in her current state right now, I don't know what the fuck it is. But Ronda Rousey is legitimately one of the most sloppiest performers in the industry right now. Legitimately, one of the most sloppiest performers in the industry right now. It was terrible. I do not blame Emma at all. Emma did fine. Ronda, my God, she sucks. The only good thing about Ronda right now is the fact that they're pairing her with Shayna Baszler, and this should result in Shayna taking the title off of Ronda. That's what it needs to result in. So Ronda drove her knee into the barricade. Emma then with the tarantula. And then we had a big crossbody for 2. Ronda then kneed Emma in the head. Ronda then tied up Emma in a submission hold. Emma then mounted a comeback with a nice clothesline. Tilt-a-whirl Russian leg sweep for 2. Emma then with a wheelbarrow suplex. Emma then hit the Emma-mite sandwich in the corner. That got a 2. Ronda then raked the eyes behind the referee's back. Delivered Piper's Pit. And then an armbar, and Emma tapped out. Not a good match. Not a good match. And it is all on Ronda, not on Emma. But I am happy to see Emma back because Emma is great at what she does, and she's going to add a lot to the SmackDown Women's Division. We got 2 new matches announced for Crown Jewel. We got the Usos and the Brawling Brutes for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships, and Bayley and Bianca in a last woman standing match for the Raw Women's Championship. Should be good. Should be very good. Legado del Fantasma. I love me some Legado del Fantasma. A little Santos Escobar. They took on Hit Row and a mystery partner. Now, I thought it was going to be Carmelo Hayes. I was wrong. I don't know what they're waiting on with Carmelo Hayes, but he needs to get called up to the main roster, and he needs to be put with Hit Row. That's going to take Hit Row to the next level. But their partner was Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I can't shit on this match. I can't shit on this match for one specific reason. This is going to result, if it doesn't result in this, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. This should result in a Nakamura versus Santos Escobar match. That's the shit that we need. That's the shit I want to see. So the babyfaces were in control in the beginning. Legado del Fantasma then isolated Ashante via Adonis. Joaquin Wilde hit a nice splash on Adonis for a 2. tagged to Nakamura. Nakamura lit up Wild and Santos. He had a sliding German suplex on Santos. Top Dollar with a double slam to Wild and Cruz. Now, this was actually great. Top Dollar, he's not there yet, but he's slowly getting better. And you can see he's slowly getting more fluid in the ring. This was very impressive right here. Top Dollar did an Undertaker tribute. He climbed up the top rope, holding Santos Escobar's arm like the Undertaker, little old school, and he delivered an old school diving axe handle off of the top rope, which looked very good. And he landed on his feet just fine. Tagged to Nakamura, he hit the Kinshasa on Cruz del Toro, and he beat Legado del Fantasma. Fun little match, and that was pretty much it. Pretty much it. Top Dollar looked good, and it looks like we could be getting Shinsuke Nakamura and Santos Escobar. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'll tell you what else was actually pretty solid. Karrion Kross and Madcap Moss. Karrion Kross and Madcap Moss. These two actually put on a very solid match. These two worked very well together. And Madcap Moss, he's a believable guy. He's a big, believable guy to go up against Karrion Kross and actually look fairly good against him. Because he's a big, muscly guy. So, Moss and Kross. Unintentional rhyme right there. Eminem, eat your heart out. They actually did very well together. So, Kross unloaded with some right hands. Moss then knocked Kross out of the ring. Coming back from commercial, Kross with a Doomsday Saito, Northern Light suplex, and a clothesline for a 2. Kross then with some stiff elbows. Kross then locked in an armbar. Moss was able to get out of it, and he mounted a comeback. Stiff lariats, spinebuster for a 2, a big fallaway slam, and a shoulder tackle in the corner. Now, Moss, he got distracted just because Scarlett was on the steps. Now, she didn't do anything. She didn't physically get involved in the match. She just stood on the steps, looking all, gorgeous and menacing at the same time. But Moss, he took his eye off the prize. Kross then delivered a boot to him, a Doomsday Saito, and then a cross hammer blow right to the back of the neck for the win. Kross wins a solid match against Moss. He then took the mic and he called Drew a coward. We've all seen your true face, and at Crown Jewel, history will repeat itself. Tick tock. And he locked Moss in the cross jacket, staring into the camera. And that was how that little segment and match went off the air. I'm looking forward to that steel cage match. I think the steel cage match is actually going to be better than the strap match. The strap match, that match ended way too quickly. I don't know what it was. That match just ended way too quickly. Now, I'm not sure how this match is going to end. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. The main segment was Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt came out to address his inner demons. He said that I could really get used to that. He's like, can you feel that? He's just absorbing the cheers that are coming from the crowd. I love it. He says, it makes me feel like doing something wild. There is no mask that I'm hiding behind. It's just me and you. This is Bray Wyatt, the real man. I am proud to be here today, and I will do some spectacular things. I've been completely out of control, and I don't know what my emotions are doing, but they send me to a very, very dark place, and I don't feel anything when I do it. I've had to do some really horrible things, and I'm not afraid to do horrible things. All of a sudden, the lights went out. The lights went out. And on the screen, the masked man unveils himself, and it's this horrid, old man-looking decrepit monster It's like you know Ghost Rider, you know Blackheart from Ghost Rider. Blackheart, he has an ability where if he just touches you, he can touch you and you just rot and shrivel up and you have this black skin. Just rot and shrivel up and your soul just leaves your body and you have black skin and your eyes are like two black holes. That's pretty much what it looked like. It looked like a horrid, old, decrepit monster creature, and his name was Uncle Howdy. His name was Uncle Howdy. Really, really good stuff here. I don't know where it's going, but this is some really, really intriguing material. Uncle Howdy. I don't know who the fuck Uncle Howdy is, but I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. It's going to be good. Really, outside of the main event and the opening segment, really not too much to SmackDown. Hope you guys have had a good time up to this point. We got one more show, and then we're going to get on out of here. We can relax and enjoy ourselves a nice weekend. Rampage. Pretty decent show for Rampage. We got some decent wrestling, and we got a great backstage segment with Swerve and Billy Gunn. So the Jericho Appreciation Society, they were originally set to fight 2.0. That did not happen because Wheeler Yuta was booked on the same day as a New Japan Pro Wrestling show. So instead, we got Daddy Magic, Matt Menard. Let me tell you something. You know what makes Daddy Magic's nipples hard? DJ Storms. That's what. Daddy Magic watches DJ Storms on a weekly basis, and he gets his nipples very hard by watching DJ Storms. DJ Storms makes anybody's nipples hard. Trust me. Anyway. So, this was a decent little match right here. Matt Menard is actually very good. John Moxley is always great to see John Moxley. So, Moxley went right on the attack of Daddy Magic. Moxley got punched down by Parker before Magic took over. Matt Menard then powerbombed John Moxley, then locked him in the walls of Jericho. Moxley got out of it, hit a cutter and a King Kong lariat. Moxley then hit a superplex on Menard for a 2. Ankle lock by Moxley, Regal knee for a 2. We had Angelo Parker coming in. He caught a cutter. Menard rolled up Moxley for a 2. Moxley then pushed Menard out of it looked like Menard was going for the Blackpool Combat Club stomps that Moxley usually does. Moxley pushed him out of it with his feet, locked in a rear naked choke. Menard tapped out, and that was it. Afterwards, the firm's Stokely Hathaway and Lee Moriarty came out, and he says he knows Moxley is pissed. Then he pitched a match with him and Lee Moriarty. Moxley then accepted, and he said that Lee Moriarty will never be the same. So it looks like we got John Moxley and Lee Moriarty next week, which should be a pretty decent little match. I'm actually interested in seeing what Lee Moriarty can do against a guy like Moxley. I'll tell you what else is a great thing. The World Title Eliminator Tournament is coming back. I love it. World Title Eliminator Tournament is coming back at Full Gear, and the first 2 participants are Dante Martin and Ethan Page. That's going to be good. Love it. Love that it's a yearly thing. Keith Lee, he fought Serpentico. He beat Serpentico in about 10 seconds with a Spirit Bomb, but the main thing was about what happened after the match. So Lee was interviewed by Tony Schiavone. He didn't even get a word out before the Acclaimed came out. He said to cut the music. Bowen says that we got a problem, and I think Keith Lee has the answer to it. Billy has been MIA. Where is Billy? So the Acclaimed were asking what the problem was. All of a sudden, Swerve comes up on the screen. Swerve comes up on the screen and he's laughing. And he said that Swerve is also a Hollywood director and his favorite genre is horror. Billy was tied up in a chair in a dark room. Billy then says that he's not good and that's why you lost. They didn't need me. Swerve then said Billy is not going to be at Full Gear when they defend the tag team championships. So he pulled out a pair of pliers and he started clipping Billy's fingers. Now, they didn't show it, but it was implied that he was clipping Billy's fingers and Billy called him a motherfucker. It was bleeped out, but he called him a motherfucker. Swerve then said, spooky season has arrived. And that's the way the segment ended. I am telling you right now, when Swerve is broken up from Keith Lee, Swerve is going to be, I am telling you right now, Swerve is going to be an absolute beast as a heel. Really. He's going to be an absolute beast as a heel. I cannot wait to see it. Cannot wait for it. Ty Mello. Ty Mello, she took on Madison Rayne. This was not as bad as I expected. This was actually not as bad as I expected. Both women actually did fairly decent together. So Madison, she tried to gain the advantage, Tay with a backbreaker on the top turnbuckle. Rayne then with a guillotine, and then she reversed it into a DDT. Rayne with some chops and a running neckbreaker for a 2. Both women were on the top. Rayne with a diving cutter off the top on Ty Mello for a 2. We then had a wheelbarrow slam by Ty Mello. That got a 2 count. Sliding lariat by Rayne. That got a 2. Ty with some right forearms, and then she delivered the Ty KO for the win, and it was a clean win. Sammy did not get involved. It was a clean 1-2-3 win. Very happy to see that heels are winning clean. Now, what does this mean for Ty Mello? I don't know. I can see Ty Mello actually fighting Tony Storm after the Full Gear pay-per-view, which I would not mind. I think that would be a pretty decent fucking idea. Just me. Main event. Main event was Wardlow versus Matt Taven. This was for the TNT Championship. I wasn't really too familiar with Matt Taven. I didn't really know what he could do, but from what I saw from him, he didn't look bad. He didn't look bad at all. He wasn't going to win, but Matt Taven didn't look bad at all. He actually pulled out a pretty decent performance against Wardlow right here. But the bigger thing was what happened after the match. Now, the match itself was fine. The match itself was a decent little 9-minute match. Had no problem with it. So Taven tried to use his quickness against Wardlow. We had a nice drop kick by Taven, but that did not last long because Wardlow beeled him across the ring. Wardlow then drove Taven into the post. Mike Bennett got involved, and Wardlow was about to hit Bennett, but Maria got in front of Bennett, so Maria caused a distraction. Matt Taven, this was actually really, really, really nice. Matt Taven with an Undertaker-esque dive. You know, the Undertaker did his dive over the top rope. Matt Taven with an Undertaker-esque dive over the top rope onto Wardlow, which looked great. Taven then threw Wardlow into the steps. Back in the ring, Taven delivered a beautiful-looking frog splash to Wardlow's knee. So Wardlow's knee was the story of the match here. Coming back from commercial, Wardlow was then caught with a running knee for a 2. Wardlow then with an F10. He was able to hit the F10. He went for a powerbomb. Taven caught him with an enziguri. Wardlow with a big lariat and a big belly-to-belly suplex and a spine buster by Wardlow. So Wardlow then reversed the pinning combination by Matt Taven, delivered 4 power bombs, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wardlow great as usual. Wardlow is fantastic. Easily a future world champion. Easily a face of the company type guy. Taven, he looked fine, but Taven's value is going to be when Ring of Honor gets that television deal. Afterwards, Bennett then attacked before Samoa Joe came out to help. He sent Bennett out of the ring. All of a sudden, Powerhouse Hobbs comes out. He entered into the ring before the Embassy, then attacked Wardlow and Joe, and Hobbs joined the fray. And in the end, Brian Cage stood tall with the Ring of Honor TV title, and Wardlow was down with Powerhouse Hobbs standing tall with the TNT title. So it looks like we could be getting two big behemoth type of matches between those four guys, with Hobbs taking on Wardlow and Joe taking on Cage, which I have no problem with. Do I see Wardlow losing his title? No. I don't see Wardlow losing his title till next year, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I honestly think Wardlow should be the longest reigning TNT champion. I think Wardlow should break Darby Allin's record, if you're asking me. I would do that. I would absolutely do that. So I could see Wardlow breaking Darby Allin's record. I don't see Powerhouse Hobbs taking it. Now, I would have built up Hobbs to take it, but in March of next year at Revolution, but it looks like that's not the way that they're going to go. I don't know which way they're going, but they got a couple of options. They could do Luchasaurus and Wardlow when the time is right. They could do Keith Lee and Wardlow when the time is right. They could do Swerve. They could do Rey Fenix. They could do Jungle Boy. We'll have to wait and see, but Powerhouse Hobbs, I think that's a brilliant match. A brilliant match to do for Full Gear. That's a great TNT title match to do for Full Gear. That I am all for. I have no issue with that at all. That should be the match for Full Gear. Wardlow and Hobbs. Now, Joe and Cage, that's the match that I can see happening at Ring of Honor Final Battle. And if you're asking me, I'm giving Brian Cage the World TV Championship. Brian Cage is a guy that deserves that type of rub. And if you're asking me, Brian Cage would be a great representative for the TV Championship once Ring of Honor gets that TV deal in the beginning of 2023. So I see Wardlow retaining, but I could absolutely see Cage beating Joe. That's the way that I would go. That's just me. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. You guys have been great, and I hope you guys had a great time. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description and get ready. Get ready for all the streams coming in November for Full Gear, for Crown Jewel, for Survivor Series, December for Ring of Honor Final Battle and NXT Deadline. It is going to be good. I'm telling you, it's going to be scintillating because I'm the Sultan of scintillation. I'm the alpha male of the IWC. But until then, I'm DJ Storms, and this has been the Lightning Flash Update. But before we get out of here, people, there's a universal question that all must answer, baby. Who runs the IWC? I'll tell ya who runs the IWC. Who? But DJ motherfucking Storms. And don't you forget.